Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's me, Jessica, having my most beautiful of hair days. But that doesn't matter at all because we're going to close our eyes and we're going to relax in 4 amazing moments as we start Yin Yoga. I'm just going to check on things over here on the interweb to make sure that things are streaming properly. Today's class is going to include a lot of hip opening focus. As such, I highly recommend that you bring a block or 2 blocks. If you know that poses like pigeon, if you know what pigeon is, or oh my gosh, what's it called? I don't know. My brain's not working out. This is why we need to do yoga. Um, Shoelace are hard for you. I also recommend maybe bringing like a towel or a t-shirt or something that you're able to just stuff into the little space between your body and the floor to get a little bit more support. We're going to start in a reclined glute bridge, but if you're here early, I encourage you to just take this time in any stretch or maybe starting off with some stillness if that feels right for you. It's a little chilly in here. I'm gonna keep my socks on today. But I want to remind you that one of the great things about yin, dressing warm, is just gonna help you to find a little deeper range of motion. Maybe this is even a class that you pump the heat in your abode, because that warmth just creates a little bit more openness. And if you are here early, now is a beautiful time to just start noticing how your body is feeling, beginning to tune in to your breath. How's 2022 treating you? Personally, I can tell you that 2022 has been really hard. It's been a real mix of just like personal challenges and also some like really amazing things that are happening. So let's try and take this time to focus more on all the great, amazing things because I bet there's at least one that's going on in your life. Even if the amazing thing, it can be so small. You got up this morning and you put your feet on the floor and here you are. That is tremendous. Maybe you woke up and took a shower, or you actually had breakfast this morning. Maybe you made the most perfect cup of coffee or had someone give you the most perfect cup of coffee. And truly, just appreciating the small things can make a really big difference in your day. So I also encourage you as we move through this class today to recognize that tight hips can also be tight because stress and emotions get stored in our hips. So if you are feeling that way, if you're feeling really stressed, let it go, breathe it out, and we're gonna do our best to feel good. It's that magical time. I'm so excited. We're gonna begin with a reclined glute bridge. So using your prop, take your time, lay down on your back, plant your feet down on the floor. Press into your heels, lift your hips up, and then place your block or maybe your rolled up towel or maybe a pillow right at your low back. So my glutes are just gently hanging off the floor. Can't see the timer at all, so you're going to bring that a little bit closer. We're going to hang out here in this supported glute bridge. Just breathe in, being our best selves for an amazing 3 minutes. Just find a place to relax your hands. Maybe you have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Maybe it feels good to spread those arms nice and wide, starting to bring a little bit of a stretch to your chest. Just pick a position. Do your darndest to stick with it. Start to tune into your breath. Remember, throughout class, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So you're either finding one spot to just relax your eyes, finding a soft focus, or if that's distracting for you, if you're surrounded by work or clutter or family or pets that are starting to draw your attention, close your eyes and just let all that go. Notice how your body's feeling today and how your breath is to begin with. Where are you breathing? Encouraging you to send those long, slow, deep inhales all the way down to the very bottom of your diaphragm. And make sure with each exhale that you're really getting all of the stale air out so that each breath can be a little bit fresher, hopefully a little bit fuller, maybe even a little longer. I was telling a friend that thanks to this practice and the idea of focusing on our breath more than anything else, of letting everything else go, that I've been able to slow my breath down to 3 breaths per minute. And they called me a liar. And I said, well, maybe you should just come to Yin Yoga. So I will be sure a couple times today to let you know when we have a minute left so that you can just check in and see how many breaths does it take you to get to the end of the minute. And I assure you that I did not start out in a place where it was easy to relax enough to slow my inhales and exhales down to 20 seconds per breath. But if you believe it, you can achieve it. Anything is possible. I know that it helps me so much to feel more relaxed because when we do that fast paced breathing, it's stressful. It gets our heart rates going a little bit more. And when we slow things down, it can just prepare us for anything. You might even be feeling a little stretch of your belly. Maybe you feel the digestive juices starting to move around as we find a little stretch through our core right here. With those feet ground down to the floor, on your next inhale, lift yourself up. We're going to remove ourselves off of the block. I bet you did a great job and take 1 minute in knees to chest pose. So draw your knees in towards your chest. Tune back into your breath for this 1 minute. Just about halfway right now. Check in with your shoulders and your face. Notice if you're bringing any additional tension to the stretch that you don't need. And on this next exhale, release the soles of the feet down to the floor. Next up, we're going to come into a figure 4 stretch, which we're going to enjoy 2 different ways. I always like to start with my right leg first, no matter what it looks like. I encourage you to move that right leg first. You're going to get possibly a little compression in that lower right ab, our ascending colon. I always like to work the ascending and then the descending so that you don't find yourself uh, constipated through your yoga. All right, so we're crossing our right leg over the left, starting with both feet down on the floor. I want you to think about stretching your right knee to the wall away from you so that you're first feeling a nice hip opener right here. We've got about a minute and a half that we're going to enjoy in each direction. So relax that upper body. Notice if you're really arching your back off of the floor. How can you relax into this pose a little bit more? Still actively stretching that right knee away, but everything else is as still as possible. I'm just going to move this timer to where I can see it a little bit better. Pardon me. And we're back to that stillness. All right, don't change the position of your legs at all, but we're going to transfer the stretch from opening the front side of the hip to bringing it a little bit more into the glute simply by lifting that left foot off of the floor. And you can keep that left foot lifted, or you can even place that left foot on a block because we're using our props. And perhaps that slightly decreases the sensation of the stretch that you're feeling, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're doing your best to eliminate any fidgeting. We're not coming in so deep that we need to then come out of the posture. You're finding that sweet spot where there is a bit of a noticeable stretch, maybe even uncomfortable, but not painful. And we're just breathing through it, using our inhale to be aware of that stretch and our exhale to let go the tension, the stress, the thoughts that don't serve you. On your next exhale, I want you to carefully relax and release your left foot down to the floor. Take a moment, uncross your legs. We'll gently windshield wipe through on both sides just a couple times. Wow, how you feeling? I'm still feeling pretty tight down here. My glutes are very sore today. How are yours? Let's find the same two stretches on the opposite side. So inhaling that other leg up towards the ceiling, feeling that tightness in the hamstrings. How about you? Go ahead, cross that leg over, and we're starting with just working to stretch that knee away from us. Maybe you even put your delightfully warm hand on your hip. I know that we're generally finding stillness, but sometimes I like to even rub my hand here on the hip to help increase that warming sensation, to let it know, hey, it's okay. Stretch it out. So we're actively working towards getting our two knees in one line right here. And depending how tight your body might be, maybe your knees are nowhere near in one line. And that's okay. We're just creating the intention for our stretch. On your next inhale, we're going to lift that opposite foot up off of the floor. Your choice, whether you would like to bring your block to the party. I'm going to bring my block to the party. And both sides don't have to be exactly the same. I know this side's a little bit tighter for me. So I don't have my foot as high up on the block. I put the block on the lower side. We're just breathing it out right here. Awesome job. I bet you did great with your stillness there. Go ahead, relax your right foot down to the floor. Bring your left foot back down to the meter. Take that windshield wipe one more time. And then we're going to press ourselves up to a seated position. I'm going to roll over to one side as I'm just moving mindfully, being gentle, and then press myself up to that seated position. All right, so next up from here, shoulder. We're going to enjoy a seated spine twist. I'll be at a bit of an angle. So pardon me, Keeping that left leg forward, bringing those hands behind you. Oh my gosh, pardon me, for a little bit of support and lifting that chest, crossing the left leg over the right. We're keeping things real simple. Keeping that left leg straight ahead of us. You can either take your hand and just place your hands on your right knee. Maybe you reach a little bit further. Make sure you take some length to your spine here. So really lifting through the chest, shoulder blades are gently squeezed towards each other. And if you want to, you can look over your opposite shoulder. We're going to spend one more minute in this spine twist, starting right now. So maybe count those breaths, especially if you find yourself distracted by your work or home life or the Super Bowl or Valentine's Day. Maybe your birthday's coming up. Maybe you're just so excited that it's Friday. We're here, we're now though, so let's enjoy this time that we created here and now. That's why I love to count the length of my inhale and then to really relax, make that exhale just a little bit longer. Great. From here, we're going to go into shoelace. So taking your extended left leg and folding it in, keeping your right leg on top, you're doing your best to stack one knee on top of the other. So as you have folded those legs in a little bit closer, it's very likely that maybe your right glute came off the floor. It's a good opportunity to tuck that towel or something underneath of the right glute. You can have your hands on the top of the shins or ankles as you lift yourself up in the shoelace. Big stretch happening throughout the hip glute of the top leg, whichever one you have on top. We're spending a total of 2 minutes right here, just doing our best to have those two knees stacked, whatever it looks like. I'm sure it's fine. If you're not feeling any sort of a stretch here, though, uh, taking a little bit of a hinge forward can help you to increase the stretch if you need to. Final minute right here. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving, relax your eyes. Relax your mind, relax your breath, relax your body. You're doing awesome, halfway there. Great work, y'all. That was 1 minute. So now we're just going to open this up, still getting that stretch into our hips. Next up is fire lungs. So maybe you shimmy that bottom leg a little closer to the top of the mat. Make sure you're not jamming your ankle bone or the side of the foot into your thigh. And we're now working to be in a slightly more open shoelace or double pigeon, stacking one leg on top of the other. If you're really tight, this back knee might not come anywhere down near the floor, so feel free to use that prop. That's why I encourage you to bring them to class. We're going to spend a total of 2 minutes right here. We're already almost at that halfway point. So find your stillness. If it's too much, you can always bring your hands behind you. If it's not, ooh, that feels good. If it's not enough, you can always hinge forward. This feels great. So I'm just going to stay right here. I'm going to close my eyes for this last minute. How many breaths does it take? So we're almost halfway through class. I want to remind you that it's never too late, literally, in general for yoga. It's never too late. You can always start again. No matter how tired or sore or sick or injured you are, we've all got to start from somewhere and let that breath be number one. So make sure that none of these stretches are so deep that you can't breathe. And also be kind to yourself in your thoughts. If counting your breath is not helping you stay focused last minute, think about using your exhale to tune into something nice you can tell yourself. I like telling myself that I am amazing and I'm exactly where I need to be right now. That I'm doing the best that I can with the body that I have today, and that my best is always enough. So, whether you tell yourself all of that or you just remind yourself, I'm amazing and I'm doing my best, and that's enough. If you have another mantra that works for you, that helps you to feel like your most powerful, amazing self, I'd love to hear it. Whether you leave it in the comments or send me an email, let me know. Maybe your powerful thoughts could help me, or perhaps you'll allow me to share them with others because it's teamwork that makes the dream work. All right, we're going to carefully come out. Ooh, let's go ahead, send both legs out in front of us. Move with intention. Ooh, so tight. Bob your feet, knees, windshield wipe your feet. I'm hilariously confused by body parts today. Next up, we're going to come into our seated spine twist on the opposite side. So bringing that leg up. Maybe you're just crossing below the knee. Maybe you're crossing up super high. You're just finding a space that you can hold on to. I got my left hand behind me, close to the base of my spine, like a little bit of a kickstand, and if the floor feels far away, put your hand on a block to help you get this amazing lift. I got a total of 2 minutes here in this spine twist. I'm going to say that we're 30 seconds into it. Find that spot, focus your eyes, relax your breath, check in with your shoulders. I know I noticed I was just bringing mine all the way up towards my ears. So finding that lift of your chest without letting your shoulders lead. And I know we're getting a spine twist, but if you're tight like me, I'm feeling this stretch a lot more through the glutes, a little upper low back into the hips. And my spine's just coming along for the party. 1 minute left. Come to your mantra. I am amazing. I'm so thankful for all that I can do with my body today. I'm exactly where I need to be, and that's great. And I know that it all might sound so silly, but I promise you that I honestly feel a lot more amazing since I brought to y'all the idea of bringing these mantras into play. The first day that I told you about it, I had the worst night ever, and I didn't even care because I'd spent 45 minutes that day reminding myself that I'm freaking amazing. And I hope that you truly believe that you're amazing too, because I guarantee that there is something about you that truly is wonderful. I lost a little bit of track of time there. All right. Let's gently go ahead, fold your extended leg in. Do your best to stack those two knees on top of each other and sit both glutes down on the floor. Find that lift of your chest. Remember, if you don't feel anything at all, you take that slight forward hinge. 2 minutes has already started. I think I'm being pretty gentle here, given a nice little taste of yin. We've been keeping most of our stretches pretty short, on the short side, 2, maybe 3 minutes. If you are open to making those stretches longer, let me know. I would love to bring some 3 to 5 minute stretches to the party, but I also don't want to overwhelm anyone who's new to the practice. All right, next up, we're going to open this shoelace a little bit wider, come into our double pigeon. So I'm wiggling my lower leg forward a little bit. You're just doing your best to stack those two legs on top of each other. I'm going to bring a block to the party this time because I know I'm feeling tight. We're here for 2 more minutes, and then we're going to stretch that lower back and shoulders just a bit. Find your stillness, back to your mantra. Tell it to yourself on that exhale as you let go of your stress. Yes, I am amazing. I'm worth this time that I'm taking today. I'm doing the best that I can, and my best is always enough. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and that's okay. It's amazing, just like me. And I hope that you know that you're amazing too. So remind yourself. This is such a beautiful way to just give yourself that self love. I hope you'll join me again on Monday, Valentine's Day, because we love ourselves so much. We're going to find movement. It's medicine, it makes us feel good. All right, let's carefully come out. So remove any props that you were using. Wow, extend those legs forward, shake them out. Take your time, come into tabletop. We're going to enjoy some cat cow. I'm going to give us 2 minutes of cat cow. Starting right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is be amazing and tuck my shirt into my pants like a winner. If you don't need to tuck your shirt into your pants, I hope you came directly into that cat cow, finding a little rounding through that upper back separation of your shoulders. Honor wherever you're feeling the tightness today. So if it really is big time just in your hips, give yourself some big hip circles right here. Take a couple in one direction and then a couple in the other direction. I know we're not bringing a lot of attention to the shoulders today. We will in literally 1 minute when we finish this with some down dog, but maybe you give yourself a nice little stretch. Ooh, or some circles through the shoulder here. Maybe, maybe you get into the sides of the body. Your obliques are feeling pretty tight, looking over one shoulder and then the other. It's your turn and opportunity to find what works for you. Keep those props nearby and close to the front of your mat because after we do down dog, we're going to get a nice hip opener. And if the floor feels far away, you're going to use those props to help yourself. I hope you're enjoying this little movement break. We're going to take one more. So spread those fingers nice and wide. Even gently turn your hands, not quite to a 45-degree angle, maybe like a 30-degree angle. Think about making your pointer finger with those wide spread fingers in line with the edge of your mat. So there's a little bit of rotation through your forearms. Tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Pedal through your heels, get a nice stretch in those hamstrings. Sometimes I like to even press up on my toes and drop hips to one side and then drop hips over to the other side. Really push into your hands, palms. Get that stretch in the upper body. Maybe you shake your head yes or no. Enjoy this movement break because we got more stillness coming your way. Okay, keep your left foot down on the floor. Inhale that right leg all the way up, and then we're gonna draw it forward. Take your time, plant it on the floor. Bring that back knee down towards the floor. Shift the weight forward as we come into dragon. We're going to be some nice low flying dragons with that back knee down on the mat. So keep your hips squared towards the mat as well. Try not to open and rotate towards either side. Still enjoying that delightful hip opener. We're spending 2 minutes in dragon, and then we're going to spend 3 minutes in sleeping swan. So 1 minute of down dog, 2 minutes of dragon, 3 minutes of swans. Remember, it's normal as we're creating these openings and additional awareness in our body. Ooh, I'm going to lift myself up a little more. That maybe there's some shaking or trembling happening here. Very normal. That just means that you're creating those new connections. If at any point the stretch goes from feeling uncomfortable to feeling painful, or you notice that you're limiting your breath, I want you to gently work your way out a little bit. Even if you're just hanging out right here, right here in your hip opener and you don't have your hands towards the floor, you got to do what works best for your body today and recognize that every day is different. All right, let's pass through just for a moment and actually get a quick little hamstring stretch. So send your glutes back towards your heels, find a little extension through that front leg. You can stay really nice and lifted here. You can even have that spine really straight, or you can round yourself down to feel more of that stretch in that hamstring. Inhale, lift yourself up, walk, wiggle, or bring your right foot to the left side of the mat. We're gonna shift forward, bringing the outside of the knee down. Maybe your shin's parallel with the top of the mat. Maybe you need to bring that right heel closer towards your hip. Then press yourself back. Up to you if you want to be an upright swan. Ooh, if you want to come on down to a sleeping swan, find what feels best. Come into this stretch. We're hanging out here for, as I said, a total of 3 minutes. We're already in it to win it. Think more of having your extended back leg hip coming closer towards the mat. You don't want to roll over and bring your bent leg glute towards the mat. But you might want to bring a prop in if you're struggling here. Think of your prop. Pardon me, the same way that you would put like a block in front of a car's tire so that the car tire doesn't roll forward anymore. You're putting that block under your front leg glute so that you don't roll onto that glute. We're halfway there. And remember, the goal of this is the opening of your hip, and we're really feeling it in the extended back leg. Final minute right here. Okay, time to come out of this sleeping swan. I want you to tuck your back toe under. We're going to press ourselves up, send your hips back up towards the ceiling, separate your feet as much as you need to, find yourself back in that down dog. You can pedal through your heels, you can take some stillness in your down dog. Oof. You can press up onto your toes, take those heel drops side to side to hit more into the sides of your glutes. 1 minute right here. Maybe you're shaking your head yes or no. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing that you did on the other side because our bodies are not the same on both sides. Do make sure that you're still enjoying that nice, long, slow breath. All right. Get ready for a three-legged dog on the opposite side just to help us come into our low flying dragon. Send your left leg up towards the ceiling, keeping those hips squared to the mat. We're going to shift the weight forward, bring your left leg forward, plant it down on the floor. Not my most graceful move. And just come into any sort of hip opening that works for you. As long as you feel that hip opening, you don't have to be hinged all the way forward. You can still be a little bit more in tabletop, just depending on how your body feels today. Feel free to use those props. Remember, if the floor feels too far away, place your hands on a prop, and if that still feels too far away, lift yourself up. Place your hands on your shin, your thigh. We're going to enjoy a little over 1 minute left to go right here. So just find that stillness. Even if you've been fidgeting this whole time, we've got about 10 minutes left of class. There's still plenty of time for you to create that stillness in your postures, and I promise that it builds. Some days it's just much harder to be still than others. And remember, we're opening up those hips where there's so much emotion that is stored. And sometimes, as we're relieving that stress or honoring our bodies and the way that we feel or what's right for us today, I know it can be hard to make that stillness, but all we can do is try because you're amazing. You're worth this. You're doing the best that you can with the body that you have today, and that is enough. And you're thankful for all the amazing things that your body can do for you. Let's go ahead, take your next exhale, send your glutes back towards your heels, passing through that big hamstring stretch for just about 2 breaths. And then we're going to walk or wiggle the left foot over to the right side of the mat, shift the weight forward again. Bring that shin down towards the floor. Remember, heel might come closer towards the center line of your body as opposed to the top of the mat. And maybe you come on down to a sleeping swan, or maybe you stay upright. Just going to put that block under my glute to function as the hold, to keep my tire from rolling away, to keep me from working to bring that left glute to the floor and focusing more on the stretch throughout the right hip. And on this side, I'm bringing my head between my hands, a little bit of a bind for the upper body.
2 minutes left from right here. All right, let's carefully come out of your swan. This time I am gonna just roll over onto that glute. Swing both the legs in front. We're going to carefully lay down on our backs and bring the soles of our feet together for one last hip opener before final savasana. So soles of the feet come together, knees fall out to the side for a reclined bound angle. If you're feeling a lot of arching of that lower back off the floor, I want you to experiment with bringing your feet a little bit closer, pressing into your heels, lifting your glutes up to find that lift. And if that still is a lot on that low back, walk your feet further away and see if that feels better. Maybe the key to making this easier is to place a prop behind the back of the knee, which can take a lot of the tension and stress out of this one. You can place it behind the back of both knees. Just honoring how your body feels today. Let's spend 1 minute right here. Back to your intention, to your breath, to your stillness. You are welcome to stay in this reclined bound angle for your final savasana, or if you prefer, go ahead, extend those legs out. You can open your legs, you can open your arms as wide as you want. I like to take savasana with everything a little closer in towards the mat. I'm under the impression that it's easier for my body to help circulate if everything's a little closer together, but I honestly think that might be a bunch of hoo-ha. So just find the relaxed position that works for you. Maybe you even decide to bend your knees, really firmly plant that lower back on the floor, even a little tenting of your knees for some support. We're going to spend 3 minutes here together from right now and make it right to the end of class. However, if you would like to spend more than 3 minutes in this final Savasana, as always, I encourage you to enjoy this last position for as long as you can. Oh my gosh, we made it. That was a fast 3 minutes of Savasana. Again, you're encouraged to stay here if you would like. If you want to close out class together, now's the time to make your way to a comfortable seated position. As we get there, if you're joining me, let's take a nice stretch through the upper body. So inhale those arms all the way up overhead. Exhale your arms down. One more time. Inhale those arms up overhead. This time, bring your hands palms together and exhale. Bring your hands down to heart center with your thumbs touching on your chest and sternum. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take a moment to honor yourself. Be so grateful that you came. I know that I am. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or we did today, reach out till we are together again. Think good thoughts. Speak good words. Eat good foods. Do good deeds. And take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. Know that the light within me honors, sees, and truly, I'm so thankful for the light within you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.